Welcome, welcome, welcome. I have a question for you. What are you doing to re recruit your high performers? I ask the question because many organizations fail to re recruit their high performers. They don't want them to leave, but for whatever reason, they're not doing anything to encourage them to stay. And I just want to kind of talk about that. I want you to think about what is it that you could be doing that you maybe need to start doing or stop doing or keep doing to re-recruit your high performers. This is a question I don't really believe that we ask enough. Matter of fact, I'm going to tell you this. I've never been to an organization where they've had this conversation. And I've been an internal management consultant as well as an external management consultant, but I've never heard anyone stop and talk about the high performer. Now, they talk about how do we develop top talent. They talk about who are our successors. They talk about who's leaving the organization. What's our retention strategy? What are we doing to attract employees? How do we retain our employees? But no one really stops to dig a little bit deeper and really think through the needs of a high performer could be totally different. So I want to ask you this question. What are you doing to re-recruit your high performer? See, you need a strategy to re-recruit these valuable people in your organization. If they are top talent and they know they are top talent, then guess what? They are probably open and other people are in their DMs or in their LinkedIn inbox talking about apply to this organization. Are you tired of doing XYZ? Come and do this with us. And so I want you to just begin to think through what is it that you need to do today as a leader, as an executive to re-recruit these valuable members of your organization. See, here's the thing. There are studies out there that really kind of support this data. A study by the Harvard Business Review found that retaining high performers can significantly impact an organization's bottom line as they contribute up to 400% more productivity compared to the average performer. 400%? That's a lot. 400%. And we're just talking about average. And now I'm going to talk to you later on, not today, but later on about why you need to recruit your average performers. But I want us to focus today on your high performers. According to Gallup, organizations that successfully retain their top 20% of performers experience a 10% increase in productivity and a 20% increase in sales. Now, that's just, two studies, and you can see that there is a significant difference between the two. 10% still can make a significant difference. And trust me, I know. I remember working for a telecommunications company years ago. And it was really interesting to see that savings of a half penny. You may say, how can you save a half penny? But a half penny in savings could substantially increase our bottom line. Now, we're not talking about that today, but I just want you to begin to think through again, what is your strategy for re-recruiting your high performers? See, here's the thing. The Society for Human Resource Management estimates that the cost of replacing an employee can range from 50% to 150% of their annual salary. And we already know what goes into that. So I'm not going to say that. But other research says that replacing a high-level employee can cost you up to 213% of that salary. So it really behooves you to double down on what is our strategy of re-recruiting our high performers, our top talent, those employees of the organization who are going above and beyond to deliver. So what is it that you're actually doing to re-recruit them? I'm going to give you something, and you've heard me talk about it all the time. I want you to really think through your leadership team. Who are the people who are leading this particular group of people? I want you to think through that. If I'm a high performer and I know that I'm a high performer, is a high performer leading me? Or is an average performer leading me? How do I feel about that? I want you to ask the question. If you're a high performer, what type of leader will motivate you, empower you, and inspire you to go over and beyond what you're already doing? How do we show those individuals that they are valuable, that they mean something to us, not just to the organization, but to you as a leader? See, here's the thing that I learned a long time ago, and we had some interesting conversations about this. is there are some organizations who say, you know what, we're not giving our leaders anything to engage their teams. We're not giving them anything to reward their talent. We're not giving them anything to move the team forward, because it's up to you as a leader to dig into your pockets and provide the tools, the resources, the whatever recognition strategies that you need to pay for out of your own budget, your household budget, so to speak, not your work budget. Because here's the thing, they're helping you to do your job. They're helping you to make more money. They're helping you to deliver on results. They're helping you to achieve your bonuses. And you have other organizations who say, you know what, that's not the way to go. That's crazy. Why would we do that? But essentially, think about it. These individuals do help you to become better. They do help you to stay in that position. They do help you to go up in your career and to excel and to continue to climb the corporate ladder. So I can see both sides of the coin to that, right? A balanced perspective. But I want you to begin to think through, what is it that you do? So who are the leaders you have in these key positions who are managing your high performers? Are you giving your high performers opportunities to learn and opportunities to grow? And maybe that's not necessarily within your team. That could be working on a cross-functional project. That could be opening your hand and letting them go so that they can recommend other high performers, because they don't want to be stagnant in that career, in that position. They know they're valuable. You never ever know why an individual is staying at the organization at this particular time. It could just be that it works for them and their lifestyle, not that they are loyal to you or the organization. So I want you to think about leadership. I want you to think about the opportunities that you provide. What are you saying about them? See, I had a conversation the other day with someone who I've worked with before, and I know for a fact that she's a high performer. And here's the thing that we talked about. One person actually said, actually it was three of us, so me and two other individuals. One person actually said, you know what? I'm offended that my manager said she had to defend me with how I perform. Somebody else said, yeah, I can't believe that she would even have that particular conversation, or the things that this particular person asked me to demonstrate they don't trust me is a problem. And then they began to talk about past leaders that they've had, and even when I worked at the organization with them, past leaders that we've collectively had. And they shared about their response, the leader's response when they were passed over for a position that they felt like they deserved, but they held these individuals back. And what was the impact of that? How were they feeling about that? See, people can stay because of the culture of the organization. It's a fit for them. They're growing, and they're learning this skill and they're learning that skill. They stay for a number of reasons, but they also leave for a number of reasons as well, such as, I'll never get ahead here. I'll never further my career here. I'll never grow here. They're inflexible. They told me I could work from home and I got to go back. They told me I could do this and now I can't. They told me I could take this course and now they're taking it back. They said that, if I just keep working hard, they kept dangling the carrot that I'm going to get promoted, and I've never gotten promoted. They say that they don't have the budget this year, but they're going to give me money next year, and it comes around and they still don't have money. Whatever the reason is, right? They don't recognize me. They recognize me in a group, but we're in a team and not individually. Or they recognize me and I've shared with them. I don't like them putting me out there like that because it creates chaos and tension within with other people on the team. So I want you to think about, how do you manage that individual? Because leadership and culture are two of the strongest ways that you can re-recruit your high performers. Let me ask you this. Do you take the time to develop a relationship with them, where you actually know them and they actually know you beyond the surface? Beyond the surface. So do you take the opportunity to say, you know what? Let me figure out who this person is. I want to know them. I'll never forget having some team members, and one person was getting married, and she was on my team, but she also was a hybrid. So I shared her with someone else, right? And she had a dotted line reporting structure to me, but she worked with me quite a bit. And I'll never forget, her wedding rolled around, and I'm wondering, what is the other team going to do? Are they going to invite me and my team to be able to do something for this person's wedding? And they never did. But the person was completely shocked that my team and that we actually did something to support her, and we gave her what she wanted, not just what we wanted her to have. She could not believe it. She was in disbelief and she's crying. She said, wow, you really do value me. You really do value me. And she began to share how that person didn't value her. She didn't feel valued. She didn't feel seen, but she was a hard worker. And when we would do calibrations, we both could agree, the other leader and myself, that she was a valued employee that we wanted to hold on to. So I want to ask you, are you so busy working that you don't stop to create the relationship with them? Because relationships make all the difference. I'll never forget years ago, I was a teacher at that time. And I was working in an organization where I had become part of a network marketing organization that one of my friends had harassed the heck out of me to join. And I finally succumbed to the pressure and decided to get involved. But I was blown away, captivated, enamored with the culture of the team. And I began to perform, and I performed really well while I did it. And it was because the culture drew me in, the leadership drew me in, the opportunities to grow, the recognition for doing a job well done, the importance of professional development and personal development drew me in, and I soaked it in. And so much so, I'll never forget years later when I was working in corporate America and we were going through a class on emotional intelligence. And I had the highest scores in the class. And looking at the norm population, right? And my manager began to question my results. And finally, the facilitator just got tired and said, can you tell us what you do? And I share with them about working hard on myself in the opportunity that I did not necessarily connect the dots with years ago, but how it fostered a playground for me, a platform for me, so to speak, a building block for me to continue to pour and to grow into myself, to be more concerned about myself than I am about other people. And it made all the difference, and they could see it on that particular survey, but I had not thought anything about it throughout the years. Why? Because I was intentional about the people who I formed relationships with, even in my personal life. And while I have to work with everyone in my professional life, I'm mindful of the growth that I appreciate and maybe perhaps the growth other people don't necessarily appreciate. I want you to think about, what are the potential attrition risks? What are the risks in you not having a strategy to re-recruit your high performers? See, we know that they're going to leave, or they could leave. Let me say this, not that they're going to leave, that they could leave. We know that there's a possibility that if we do nothing, they could leave. But there's another possibility that if they leave, they take that knowledge with them, and other people will begin to question, why did they leave? Why did that person leave? And so then you can start sometimes to see a trickle down effect. Then people think, if this person left, then it must be something going on, because you're not the only person who knows that they're a high performer, right? So I want you to begin to think about that. I want you to think about, what's the risk to the organization? What's the risk to the team for you not doing anything to re-recruit these individuals? And I want you to begin to write them down and proactively address these concerns. And what are you going to do? See, for some organizations and some leaders, you're going to have to go back and review your opportunity, your policies on promotion, your policies on working from home, your policies on professional development, your policies on volunteering, your policies on outside work, your policies on maybe your ERGs or your diversity, how we respond to diversity, equity, and inclusion, whatever the case is. But I want you to think about that. And I want you to think, what is your strategy? What are we going to do about this? Money alone, compensation and benefits alone, I can guarantee you, may be a part of your strategy, but it is not the sole thing you need to do to re-recruit your high performers. So what is it that you need to do? How do you plan on ensuring that your organization is sustainable? You need these individuals. How do you ensure that this is the best place to work, a great place to be? Because guess what else? when people are talking on Saturday nights or, happy hours with their family and friends, and they're talking about your organization, what are they saying? One of the things that is absolutely hilarious to me is how they describe the organizations. I've heard everything from your ugly boyfriend to your abusive, girlfriend to your whatever the case is to describe organizations. So what are they saying? And I hear other people who are even out of work. And it's really interesting when people who are out of work, they're unemployed, they are laid off, and they are still particular in where they go. And they say, you know what? No, this person is a high performer. They hate it. This person is a high performer. They work all day. This person is a high performer. And they're always complaining about their organization or their leadership. This person, they absolutely hated no way. Every time I look online, I don't see anything in the media about that organization growing. But what I do see, or them changing rather, but what I do see is they always have a position open for this particular role, or they always have a position open in this department. Why is that? And they say, no, I'll pass. Doesn't matter the money. So I want you to begin to think about that. I want you to really double down now on saying, it is important. It is vitally important to our organization's success, our long-term strategy, that we decide right now and today that we are going to put something in place specifically to re-recruit our high performers, and we're going to revisit it often. Now, if you need help doing that, you would like assistance, I would love to be able to help you with your strategy to re-recruit your high performers. Got some ideas in my pocket that may actually work. I can show you what to do. I can also share with you what not to do, what you need to put in place, and how we can implement it quickly. Because that's the thing, right? We want to implement quickly. We want to make sure that we're delivering under budget, on time, with least and minimal disruption to your organization. And it needs to be aligned with your long-term strategy, with your growth and expansion plans. So if this is something you would like my assistance with, all you need to do is send me a message, and I would love to help you. I would love to help you with that. We can just have a brief conversation, maybe a 10-minute conversation. You can also go to my website and schedule that, a 10-minute conversation on what we can actually do to move your organization forward. Now, I got something special for you. I've been offering it for a while now. I have a free resource guide, and it's called Unlock the Secrets to Superior Talent. Discover the strategies employed by the world's best organizations to create and sustain high-performing teams. And if you don't know what re-recruiting your top performers has to do with your high-performing teams, we really need to have a conversation. All you need to do to get the guide is to send me a message and just say, Talent Secrets. That's it. Talent Secrets. That's it. I make it simple and easy for you. When you message me saying Talent Secrets, I have something special for you that I will get right over to you, because I want to make sure that you have the tools and the resources you need to transform your managers into high-performing leaders. Cannot wait to see you guys back here next time. Make sure to leave me a comment. And if you liked what you heard here today, share it with your team, share it with your colleagues. I'll see you guys back here next week. Be abundantly blessed.